Welcome to our playground.
Recess the podcast is an eclectic show of organic discussion, imagination, deep conversations, interviews, creativity, intuition, high vibrations, and fun.
Be informed, energized, inspired, and entertained with me, Jamie.
And me, Brian. Ready or not, here we come.
Because we all need to take a break. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Good, Jamie. How are you?
Doing good. I'm happy to be playing here at Recess with you.
Likewise, thank you.
We've been through quite a bit over the last few months, huh?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Started this podcast.
What?
I said, since we started the podcast, we've sort of lived a few lifetimes.
Oh, yeah, no, and I don't even know where to start. Well, I had a little hospital experience, and it turns out I'm going to probably have to have open heart surgery. So that's a
big deal.
sobering.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was out of the blue too. I guess they found a little hole, congenital hole, as well as my valve is leaking. So between the two, it's just causing inefficient blood flow, which has left me tired. And I've been tired for a while. And so I guess in some ways it's good. I kind of figured out why. It's not like I want to go and have the surgery, but you got to do it. And so I'm still kind of waiting for a date right now, but it's brought up a lot of interesting things. I mean, I feel like I do a pretty good job of surrendering to situations, and I have a lot of intestinal fortitude in different ways, but it's also kind of, what has it done? I've always kind of tried to be the one who had it all together, or the strong one, and I do a pretty good job of that for the most part, and being there for other people. And it's just like, man, I'm kind of feeling like I need a little reciprocation now.
I hear you. Well, you know what? I'm going to invite the audience to lean in and lift you up. So anybody who's listening and feels whatever your calling is, whether it's prayer, whether it's energy work, whatever, let's lean in on Brian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Emotional. Yeah, it's interesting. I had a little incident last week, like where I just kind of it was a rough week energetically and with everything, and just kind of they had a date set for the surgery, and then I found out my insurance, which is supposed to be pretty good, is not accepted by that particular surgeon, who's amazing, and I really want to use him. He's a great guy too. So that kind of doubled up this. Oh my God, what the fuck, and so now I don't even have a date scheduled, and I'm trying to figure out the insurance thing. So that's probably the scariest part. I mean, ask me when I'm on the gurney going into surgery, that'll be the scariest part, but it's just like the whole financial part of it too. It's like, oh man, I don't want to be freaking buried after all this, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
it's tough times, for so many people. And like we were talking about earlier, surgery is no matter how standard it is, it's still surgery, it's still invasive, and anything can happen. But I would venture to say, Brian, in my humble opinion, my intuitive opinion, that you'll be able to get the surgeon and you'll be in good hands and come out the other side, and we're all going to be cheering you on.
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Thank you. Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest learning so far in this process for you?
I think it's been a process. When I went through prostate cancer 3.5 years ago, it was the beginning of it, but it was like this kind of slow chipping away of this part of myself that felt like I had to just always have it together.
Yeah.
I mean, I do most of the time, and I'm good at that, but yet it's just also, there's tough stuff that comes through, and we're not meant to do it alone. And so I think that was the beginning for me. And then so it's just this experience right now is just, I'm just trying to kind of let in all the love and not that I would push it away in the past, but just wouldn't always let it in.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that will, also happen like when I would release things, books and stuff like that. I don't know if it's a self-worthiness thing or what, but I just, wouldn't pat myself on the back, or I wouldn't really just let in the wins. And
Yeah.
so I'm really consciously trying to, not that this is a win, but I mean, down the road, it could be, I'm not even going to try to guess what it's supposed to mean, or, you know what I mean, right now, just let it happen, surrender to it, and just do the best that I can to come out on the other side in a good place. But, looking back, a lot of times we'll see where something maybe pointed us in a new direction or brought something else in. And so this will probably be no different.
Well, as hard as it may be, you know, I'm with you. I mean, this whole concept of having it together or not showing weakness, because we often think, at least from my experience in my own self, I've believed in the past that if I've been weak or I've shown that I don't like, I can't afford something, or I can't do something as well as someone else, or whatever, that I have to have my shit together. My belief was that nobody would want me, that I'm not worthy, I don't have value. It really tweaked my self worth. And so, and it still does. That still comes up for me now and again. So, for me to turn to somebody and say, I can't do something, it's like, oh, well, then what good are you? Right. And so that negative self talk often plays in my head. And so I look at it, and I look at it, the opportunities for vulnerability or weakness, as an opportunity to go deeper into the strength. How do I integrate that vulnerability to be able to say, you know what, it invites others to participate in my life? Because, like you were saying, I've held myself at arm's length. I've held others, arm's length to connect with me when I'm vulnerable, and it doesn't allow them to lean in on me and to participate in my life, and it's selfish in a negative way, in my humble opinion, to do that, because then um, I'm basically saying you're good enough to hang out with me when I feel good, but you're not good enough to hang out with me when I don't feel good.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting. I resonated with a lot of that for sure, and all the, you've had a lot of athletic success and different things, and as have I, and accomplishments and a lot of things. And I think certain people probably look at us in a certain way, and I put a lot of pressure on myself too to be perfect and pious because I was writing self-help books. And we're all just trying to be the best version of ourselves, right? And those are just avenues for me to become more self-aware. But yet it also had and still does a little bit, added that pressure of me feeling like I needed to look a certain way. So I'm kind of chiseling away at that,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
humbling as it is.
Right. It's so funny because as human beings, we want intimacy. And I'm not talking just sex. I mean, to be seen, to be vulnerable, we keep talking about being authentic, right, with others, and be ourselves. But yet we won't do it because we're so afraid to get hurt, or we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust others enough to be that way. So it's such a weird, crazy human thing that we fight against ourselves. It's like, love me, but don't love me because then you might hurt me.
That's so true. And it just totally blocks everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So unbinding from that and taking that risk. And right now, when we're doing this podcast, it's in the beginning of February. And February, as an astrologer, it's all about the Aquarian energy. And we're in the age of Aquarius, there's all that. But Aquarius energy is all about being unique, breaking free, and breaking the status quo, if you will. And if you have a lot of Aquarian emphasis in your chart, then you'll find yourself tending to be the rebel, the one that likes to stand out, but not just to rebel, but to be able to create an environment where everybody can be included. So anyways, I'll go back to the breaking free of the status quo, or breaking out of our comfort zones, which is something that you and I talk about. Your Habits of Success book often points to finding your comfort zone and doing one thing that may scare you, right? And so in doing so, it creates this awareness for us that we want to be authentic, but we're not willing to break our comfort zone to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Or there's, I think, probably parts of it too, like where we want to be that way and we may not worry about what other people think and all that kind of stuff. But yet there's probably parts of us that maybe still don't feel worthy enough to show that. And that holds us back too. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Oh, absolutely. I remember a couple of years ago, it was 2021 was my year of no fucks to give. That was the theme. Usually every year I pick a word, right? And that for whatever reason, 2021, I got into that place where I chose the phrase, I have no fucks to give. And so I just basically was like, this is who I am. This is how I express myself. And if you don't like it, then you're not my person. You're not my people, you know? And I forget that sometimes because that actually works. And it doesn't mean that I don't care about something when I say I have no fucks to give. It
Right.
just means it's like the book, I can't remember the author's name, but he was like The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. But basically, it's that mindset of you care about the things that matter and you let go of the things that rob you of your peace, rob you of your authenticity, you know? So that's kind of the mindset that I take on now when I feel myself bump up against myself of wearing the mask or
Mm.
holding myself back or not letting somebody in. You know, I was uh, I was telling, here's me being vulnerable on air. Okay. So I was telling my partner at the beginning of January, I was like, business is a little rough right now. It's quieter than I kind of like. And, I'm noticing everyone, not just myself, but everyone is feeling the pinch financially. And we're in a scarcity mindset and we can't seem to break free of it. And he was like, are you doing okay? And I was like, he goes, are you worried? I was like, a little bit. He goes, well, that scares me. And I was like, it scares me too. I'm worried, I can't help it. I have bills to pay just like the rest of us. And so, anyways,
Mm.
to be vulnerable like that, to say, I'm an independent, self made, strong woman and I don't have my shit together right now, doesn't feel
Oh,
good.
no, it's the hardest thing for me to do.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying for anybody listening, I feel your pain. The struggle is real and we're not invincible to any of this. And we all have our struggles in whatever area of life. And, when I sit with people and work with them, very often we'll talk about what's my karma. They'll ask, what's my karma? I'm not going to go off on too much of a tangent of what karma is. The my belief and my definition of karma is conditioned tendencies, the cycle, the patterns, the things that we do habitually that
Mm.
are unconscious, that we make conscious, and then we still continue to do. So, anyways, and when they ask me the question, what is my karma? And I'm looking at it from an energetic, intuitive, astrological aspect, everybody has a different area in their life in which they're working through karma. So
Mm.
some people it might be relationship, some people it might be financial, some people it might be spiritual, some people it might be professional, right? Because what you find, and this is a little quick tip for anybody, is that you look at the patterns in your life. What are the structures that you've built and have had, like the Tower card in tarot, that have been built and then they crash, and then you
Mm.
rebuild and they crash, and you rebuild and you crash, and you're constantly facing the theme, if you will, of that area. So for me, it's relationship. I've been divorced twice, married, divorced twice, and I've been through some interesting relationships in between. And so it's like, for me, that karma is in relationship, and it's not just romantic relationships, it's relationships to all things. Relationship to food, my weight has gone up and down throughout life. Relationship to money, my money's gone up and down throughout life, right? So it's the relationship for me. I've
Mm.
got some people who, they'll go, I'm worried about my finance. I'm like, that is not your karma. Money flows to you easily, jobs come to you easily. You're fine there. Let's talk about the other stuff.
Right.
So, anyways, that was
Uh,
my diatribe on that.
Thank you. What's your word for this year?
Funny you ask. Well, usually around October is when I start to ruminate on, and I just allow. whatever shows up. I make a list of words or whatever for in October for the next year. And this year I do my list, and the way that I pick it is, where am I most resistant, or where do I find the most energy around it, of like, I just, because the body doesn't lie, as I mentioned. And so where does my body either light up, or where does it get really resistant to what is being presented? So make my list, la la la. And the word was teacher, or teaching. I want to teach. I want to do more. And so I started thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to teach more in the 2024. Well, come December, all of a sudden I was like, maybe teacher's not it, because I'm just not inspired. I don't even know what I'm going to teach. I can do astrology. I can teach, wisdom teachings, whatever,
Yeah.
and energetics, that sort of thing. I just wasn't inspired. So I was like, well, maybe my word is expansion. So I was like, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's expansion. And I shared that with a couple of people. Well, over the last 2 weeks before we record this, I have had more inspiration of courses to teach. And I was commissioned through the Nine Gates Mystery School to expansion, my role, and offer a new type of it's not teaching as much as it's a orientation. It's a so when initiates, as people are interested in mystery school, I'm now one of the people that I orchestrate or facilitate calls to give them a little view of what mystery school is like, and that sort of thing. And then there's also what's called an intentional practice group that we're going to be offering, and I'll be leading that. So yeah,
2 words this year.
2 words apparently.
An expansive teacher, or teaching expansively, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
that's and one other caveat for the listeners, the audience, I'd love to hear if you want to explore that. So I do words instead of set New Year's resolutions, to be clear. So if you guys want to pick a word, here's the only thing: you're going to experience the light and shadow of it so that you can integrate it. And so one of the things I remember explicitly years ago, my word was freedom. And I felt so trapped in my own world, in the world I created, my own choices, relationship, you name it. And by the end of 2012, or yeah, it was 2012. By the end of 2012, I broken free of relationship, and actually it was 2011.
Was
Relationship.
too much freedom?
What's that?
Was too much freedom? Or
No. It
okay.
wasn't too much. It was just I didn't have it. So that's what I meant by the shadow side, is it felt constricting for quite a bit of time. I was constricted because I either didn't have the funds for something, or I was constricted because I was in the wrong relationship or the wrong job. And that year, it was 2011, that year, I left a relationship, gained a new one, lost a source of income, but gained a greater one. I mean, it was all these things that, yeah. So anyways,
Nice.
yeah. So I feel good. I mean, teacher expansion, I'm curious. I have no idea where it's going to go, because the other thing, when I was presented with the idea of this intentional practice group a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I don't want to stretch myself, I don't want to take one more thing on. Well, then, so I passed the baton to another, one of the another staff. And then I find out 2 days ago that she's going through her own health stuff, and she's not going to be able to focus on it. So I was like, I'm here. I'm back. I'm
ready.
I'll be happy to do it, So
That's awesome. Well, you're such a good teacher.
Thank you. I'm gonna welcome the compliments. So everyone listening, please welcome compliments when they come. Thank you very much. Yeah. That is a life lesson. I can give compliments like there's no tomorrow, but receiving them, I'm a rambler today, but I'll let you can interrupt me anytime, Brian.
No, I totally agree. I've been the same way, and I'm trying to be better at that. And my MO for a long time, not anymore, is like when somebody said something nice about me, I would just like repeat it right back. You know what I mean? And just to them, even maybe even the same compliment or whatever. It's just like,
Your
oh.
hair looks really lovely. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't. Yours looks fabulous.
Exactly. Yeah, there's the no first, and then the you, but you're, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I just, just try to say thank you and just come in a little bit there, just let it in a little without, I mean, I do still want to say something nice because, I do that a lot anyways, but yet I'm just trying to not just go bam right back at somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the practices, this is just reminding me of one that I haven't done in a while, and that is naming 3 things you appreciate about another person
Mm,
and letting them know, telling them, those acts of appreciation are really important because we often take, especially the people we spend the most time with, we take them for granted.
yeah. Yeah, they're the ones that usually bear the brunt of our insecurities and triggers,
Hmm.
you
Yep.
know, family or what have you.
It can be something as little as, so one of the things I truly appreciate about my partner is that he prefers calls over text. He will call and he wants to hear my voice. He doesn't want to just text and whatever. And in today's society, obviously with text being so prominent, there text can be impersonal, even if we use emojicons and all that sort of emojis or whatever. I make up words, emojicons. It's like a
Yeah,
cross between anime
I,
and
I
emoji.
knew exactly what you meant. Yeah.
It's okay. I've made that word up a couple of times. My kids love it. So, anyways, text can be impersonal, no matter how you try and dress it up. But when you can actually hear somebody's voice and the inflections and that sort of thing, it just, yeah, it's kind of nice. So it's those little.
Oh, totally agree. I mean, I think texting to me is a grind. I hate doing it on my phone. If I can type it on my laptop, it's a step better, but I'm the same way. I'd much rather chat.
Well, I love using Siri and then letting her interpret some of the words, So if I'm dictating, right, and some of the stupid shit she comes up with, I'm like, just send it. Let's see what they come up with.
Oh, that's funny.
But I mean, a lot of people use the voice to text. I have some friends that use that, so you can
I
hear the
do
voice
that.
as well.
Yeah, if I'm on my phone, but then you have to correct stuff, which is,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know
Like,
why. I just feel like it's such a grind just to text. It's like, first of all, I need my reading glasses, and it's like,
oh, that thing called age. I know. It's funny. I specifically went to the eye doctor 2 years ago because I started to have to wear reading glasses, and I don't like things on my face. And so anyways, I got these monovision, right, contacts, and now I'm wearing reading glasses.
yeah,
Age.
yeah.
So, oh well, what are you going
One
to do?
thing we can't outrun.
Nope, that's right. Age. We were talking about that. I mean, going back to the physical health stuff, our bodies are no different than a motorized vehicle. It's gonna it has parts, it moves, it needs repairs, it needs maintenance. And the thing that frustrates me is that you meet people who eat, McDonald's and chicken wings, and which I love, by the way, all those things. I love fast food. I mean, my favorites.
Well,
I love, give me a good greasy hamburger any day. Whew. Anyways, but I tend to avoid them because my body will blow up. But you watch, people that, do all kinds of things or neglect their maintenance, and they live to be hundreds of years old, and then you have
yeah.
those who are in this healthy lifestyle and they expire early. I mean, you just never know, but I guess,
No, and it's two truths. If you don't use it, you lose it. So definitely as you get older, keep moving your body. Because I mean, if you don't, then it's that much harder to kind of get it going. And two, health is everything.
yeah. Yeah. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. I mean, you can't do anything. So, I mean, that is true. Yeah. Oh, I have to say this just because I'm not sure when we're going to air this podcast, but I just have to say, go Knights!
Well, oh, you say go. Oh, you cut out. Maybe no.
That's all I can
Oh,
say.
okay. You say go Niners.
I did. I have to. I have to have something in the historical record books of me yelling, Go Niners. We made it to the Super Bowl in 2024, whether we win or not. I mean, I care, but we made it.
I'm
So
happy for you.
happy
And
to.
not that I really had any team, I kind of was rooting for the Lions only because they've had such a
Great
long
story.
drought. I
Great
know.
story.
Yeah.
I
But
appreciate all the Lions fans. And, my partner and I were talking about that because he's also a diehard Niner fan, that if they had won, we would have been disappointed as Niner fans,
yeah,
but I would have, that would have been a great story. I would have rooted for them if they had won.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike the Niners.
yeah. But, anyways, so
Yeah.
all you haters out there, get up. Because
Yeah.
I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of the Taylor Swift stuff. I don't care if you love Taylor Swift. I am not a big Taylor Swift fan. I respect the woman because she's a businesswoman and she's obviously very good at what she does and all that, but I'm just tired of it. Let me see something else. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's Jamie's opinion, which means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Ah,
Other than it's my world and I live in
damn right.
it. And I get to create it.
Yeah. Oh, time is up.
Oh my gosh.
I
Is it
know.
really? That's because I've been talking the whole time. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. No, we touched on some good stuff, and I think stuff that everybody feels and goes through and probably struggles with in the same ways that we do.
Yeah. Well, I hope that something resonates here. And please, pick a word for the year. Let us know what it is, or what are you willing to be vulnerable about? And know that there's a safe space for that. I mean, obviously, we don't need, if you're not feeling safe and that sort of thing, don't be vulnerable. You have to know your audience. But if you do have someone, a professional, a friend, a family member, whatever, that you feel safe and you can trust, let yourself be vulnerable with them and let them lean in on you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for playing, Brian. Thanks everybody for listening, watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for joining Jamie and Brian on Recess, the podcast, the twice-weekly show of eclectic, inspired, and entertaining discussion. Be sure to subscribe as well as share with your friends and spread the good news. It's always appreciated. If you'd like to learn more about Jamie's intuitive coaching services and creative projects, please go to jamiedon.com. And if you'd like to learn more about Brian and his creative spark world and books, please go to gbrianbenson.com.